I want to talk a little bit about Mars and Venus here. Mars's job and Venus's job are interrelated. And as you notice right away, these planets are very, very close. Okay? We would actually call this astrologically a very tight conjunction, both in Pisces. Now, what is really interesting is that Jupiter, while Jupiter deals with some money matters, okay, and certainly can bring you wealth, on a day-to-day level, Venus is about what we value. So Venus is about both love and money because we value certain people, we value certain things. Just kind of how it is, folks, okay? Venus's job is to tell us what we value. Now, in this particular chart, our subject has Venus in Pisces, which is actually a pretty good thing. Venus in Pisces is exalted. We call exalted planets the honored guest. Okay? And when you have Venus in Pisces, it means likely that you're very creative, likely that you value things that are under the radar, intuitive. From an energy level, you pick up on more subtle things. Okay? This is a wonderful setup for anybody who is creative. Now, what makes this one even more interesting is that it's sitting in the second house. We haven't talked about the second house yet tonight, but the second house deals with our finances, deals with money, deals with stuff. Basically, the second house deals with anything that we own that's not a home. Okay, a lot of astrologers will call this one the house of movable possessions. The second house represents our assets, represents our debts. It also represents any talents that we come into the world with. Okay? So, our subject was someone who, yes, had the ability to work quite well with females because Venus is also the planet that deals with women. Okay? But someone who also likely did not have a lot of trouble making money. With Venus and Pisces in the second, it doesn't surprise me to know that he was wealthy. It's not a surprise. And that wealth seemed to come easy to him. Again, when you have a planet that is exalted, we call it the honored guest because all you have to do is show up and that planet will get attention. So he got a lot of attention for money. And part of what he did earlier on in his career was he was a financial analyst. But Venus's job is just to tell us what it is we value. Venus is not, as you probably heard me say before, the planet of work. She doesn't work. I mean, what person in their right mind wants to work? Okay, I gotta say, I have heavy Capricorn in my chart, and I kind of want to work. But generally speaking, Venus doesn't work. Okay, Venus's job is just to tell us what we want. We go next door to Mars to talk about how we get what we get. Because Mars's job is to go out and get what Venus tells him to go get. I often say that Mars is kind of like Bam Bam from the Flintstones, okay? He's got his club. His job is to go out there and hit things. His job is to go out and get shit done. Simple as that, folks, okay? But when you have Mars in a sign like Pisces, Mars in Pisces can have trouble with motivation, okay? Because Pisces is a sign that is not typically well regulated. It can have trouble just getting started. Pisces does, and I apologize to my Pisces folks, it's not everybody, but one of the main negative qualities of Pisces as a sign is a lack of ambition or a lack of motivation or just a lack of desire to do anything. Pure laziness can be part of the Pisces makeup. And we do have someone who has 2 of their 3 personal planets in Pisces as a sign. Okay? So when it came time to actually doing things, how did he do it? Well, Pisces is very much behind the scenes. Pisces is subtle. Pisces is not aggressive. Okay? Pisces works the backroom angles. Okay? Pisces deals with energy. And so that makes a lot of sense based on what we know of this subject. Now, we've talked about both of those, but what happens when we put them together? Whenever you see Mars and Venus conjunct like this, okay, again, and it's a very tight conjunction. Normally, when I talk about a tight conjunction, I mean only 2 degrees or less apart. That's a very tight conjunction, okay? When you see Mars and Venus like this, I call this the love me or hate me aspect. Okay? The idea with this is that people either really liked this guy, which clearly a lot of people did, unfortunately, or they really didn't like him. There's an extreme in this person. People are really attracted to him, or they're really repelled by him. And I've seen this often in charts where it feels like people who have this have the people who really like them, and the rest of the people don't want to associate with them. And it's very extreme. Okay? And so seeing this in his chart is not a huge surprise to me. I feel like, people either really liked him right away or they didn't. And I think, given what we know now, I think a lot of people who did say they liked him probably are wishing they had never gotten involved with him. But Mars and Venus, this is a very interesting setup because it does favor women over men, but it also is not a particularly motivated sign. Mars in Pisces is just not particularly motivated. Now, obviously, we know that he was motivated, but what motivated him? In many cases, we could say it was money, at least at the beginning. Okay, he certainly had a lot of money. And as we look at that second house, we can also say that because we have both Mars and Venus here, the second house also is about our physical security. And so no matter what he did, he wanted to make sure he felt safe. Pisces is a sign that feels.